Your mother just wanted you to bring honor to your ancestors. But you picked up a bottle and smashed it over the bald head of the city official. You hit him and then turned to run. But after just 2 steps, you stopped, leaving your companion dumbfounded. He asked, "What are you doing?" "He doesn't even know my name. He doesn't know who I am, who that kid is. Go find him and beat him to death." The city official was still clutching his head in pain when the bottle appeared in front of him again. He looked up and exclaimed, "What's going on? I'm not that kid. I am Rocky. Get it right. Rocky!" Because of Rocky's recklessness, he was taken to the police station. The local mob boss heard about Rocky and sent someone to get him out. He asked Rocky, "Why did you do that?" "I want to make a name for myself." The mob boss had never seen such a look before and was curious about this kid's purpose. "To bring honor to my ancestors." That was Rocky's reason. Rocky's obsession with honoring his ancestors stemmed from his mother. Ever since he was born, his mother was his sole provider. Every day she worked 8 different jobs. The men in the village often mocked her. Eventually, she collapsed from exhaustion and fell ill. That day, Rocky took all the coins he had saved for 6 years to save his mother. The doctor said, "This isn't even enough for a single painkiller." His mother knew she wouldn't make it through the night. She had nothing to leave Rocky. Her only legacy were her final words. That night, she looked at her son with determination and said, "Promise me you'll bring honor to our ancestors. You must have money and power." "I will have money and power, mother." In that small room, young Rocky found his purpose in life. His mother gave him a single goal, but he didn't know how to achieve it. That night, as Rocky walked the streets thinking about how to get money, suddenly an old beggar stopped him and kept asking Rocky for money. "I don't have any money." "You don't have money? Then take this." Rocky remembered his mother's words. Then he yelled, "This isn't enough for me." "If you want money, beg. But if you want more, you have to take it." "Power. Only power will bring you more money." "Power? How do I get power?" "Power only comes from where power already exists." The next day, Rocky set foot in the golden city of Mumbai and joined a large underground organization, a shoeshine gang. Watching the luxury cars pass by, Rocky yearned for them. That day, Rocky got his chance. A city official was causing trouble for their boss. The boss asked everyone, "Who's willing to teach that official a lesson?" But after a moment, everyone remained silent. "See, there's still someone who wants to step up." So Rocky attacked the bald head. Because of this, the boss immediately rewarded Rocky's boldness and decided to promote him. This was the coming-of-age story of a king. 15 years later, the gang leader, Kaman, had captured his enemy. Covered in blood, the man was hanging in the air. Kaman said his name was Rocky, and that he had oppressed his father for 15 years. He told his men to inform his father that he had captured Rocky. Then Kaman called for the butcher, saying it was his birthday, and he wanted Rocky's heart as a gift. Elsewhere, Kaman's father received the news of Rocky's capture, but he was trembling with fear. "Happy birthday to you." "Happy birthday to you." "Where is he?" "He's hanging. Where is my son?" "Your son is right in front of Rocky." "Oh my God, you can't hang Rocky. Just by looking at him, you have to run." Suddenly, the beast opened his eyes and kicked a henchman away with his powerful legs. Then he slowly moved forward and effortlessly lowered himself to the ground. It turned out Rocky intentionally got caught to eliminate his enemy. Another henchman charged forward. He blocked the hammer, then delivered a left hook, grabbed the man's hair, and threw him to the ground. Then he landed a devastating kick. Rocky said that when he was a child, he came to Mumbai, and it was like falling into a furnace. He was beaten every few days. But back then, Mumbai didn't know that what fell into the furnace was hardened steel. After continuous beatings and forging, I have now become a sharp blade. A blade that only knows how to kill Kaman. Seeing this, Kaman ordered his men to attack. Although his hands seemed bound, this didn't affect his terrifying strength. He took down each henchman one by one. No ordinary person could withstand his devastating blows. A powerful knee strike shattered a spinal disc. Then he swung his arm, shattering an iron rod. He bent down, picked up a steel knife, and plunged it into someone's back. The knife in his hand slashed left and then right, incredibly sharp. Kaman, unable to resist, turned and fled, but Rocky had no intention of letting him go. He walked slowly with an imposing presence. "He's coming! Run! Run! Asterisk slap! Asterisk. Sound of a hard slap." With a single blow, his enemy was sent flying 30 meters. Kaman was terrified, his limbs trembling. Henchmen continued to charge, throwing themselves at him. Rocky was fearless. He grabbed a metal hook and swung it to the left, then swept it to the right, and followed with a kick. He spun around and delivered a powerful punch, shattering something. Then he countered with another brutal punch. The remaining henchmen understood and immediately fled. Meanwhile, Kaman, running away, was paralyzed with fear. Rocky chased him, taking down a few more henchmen along the way. Finally, he stopped in front of Kaman. Mother, where's the knife? Just then, Kaman's father sent a fleet of boats to pick him up. As the boats arrived and the men looked up, they were nearly scared to death. Turn around, quick! Turn around, go! The name Rocky made everyone tremble. His power now held a firm grip on the entire city of Mumbai, but he was not satisfied, because his goal was to conquer all of India. However, a powerful man like Rocky was taken to the police station. That day, the FBI caught a strange criminal. He was driving without a license and was extremely arrogant. He even tried to light a cigarette. The chief snatched the cigarette from his hand. Once you're in here, it doesn't matter who you are. No matter how rich you are, you'll obey me. The man remained silent. Are you deaf? Suddenly, the entire police station began to shake. They looked outside and saw a convoy of pickup trucks with a large armed force approaching. 2 helicopters circled overhead. This group simply not came to deliver their boss's driver's license. Here's your license. The terrified police chief quickly retrieved the cigarette from the floor, then bowed and tremblingly lit it for him. Even the FBI agents were trembling with fear, worried that the man in front of them would get angry and blow up the entire police station. Then the chief stammered the name that terrified everyone. Rocky. The prisoners in the police station went wild, chanting his name. By now, Rocky's hair had been dried by the helicopter's downdraft. As he stepped out of the station, hash, Rocky arrived at the company's annual meeting. Due to Rocky's overwhelming presence, the boss, Nayaran, was starting to feel apprehensive. It was raining heavily that day, and the senior leadership were discussing this year's plan when a black car slowly approached. Narayan suddenly panicked, respectfully grabbing an umbrella and rushing to open the car door. A large hand emerged from inside the car. Rocky had never seen Narayan act like this before, and the person who stepped out of the car was one of the most powerful figures in the country. Unexpectedly, after getting out of the car, the person walked straight towards Rocky. He requested Rocky to go to Kolar City and complete a mission. If he succeeded, the entire mobile business would belong to him. It turned out that the country's gold king had died from illness. His eldest son, Garina, seized the opportunity to usurp the throne and take control of India's largest gold mine, the Kolar gold fields. After coming to power, Garina ruled with brutality. People from all 10 villages and 8 communes in the region were forced to work as slaves in the mine. Once they stepped foot into the gold mine, their only fate was to work for life until they died of exhaustion. Rocky knew that killing Garina would be extremely difficult, but driven by his ambition for ultimate power, he agreed. The next day, he arrived in Kolar City and met with the local boss. Just off the plane, Rocky seemed a bit tipsy, but unfortunately, the road was blocked. Why is your car driving so fast? The man asked. Ragendra's daughter, Reena, is up ahead. That girl is drinking over there. And just looking at her for a second will get you beaten up. Hearing this, Rocky immediately got out of the car and was about to walk over to ask what was going on. Then he suddenly froze. He stared intently and walked towards her, circling the beautiful girl several times. Congratulations on what? I love you! Everyone was stunned. You're so brave! What are you standing there for? Hit him! Rocky threw a powerful punch, sending the thug spinning several times in the air before he crashed to the ground. At that moment, thousands of other thugs armed with weapons rushed forward and began attacking Rocky. But how could these guys be a match for Rocky? He then picked up a necklace, intending to put it on the girl. He swung his hand, grabbed his opponent's arm, and with a crack broke his wrist. Then he adjusted his hair, because that's what true elegance is. His underlings still wanted to charge, but Rocky unleashed an electric punch, sending his opponent flying through the air. In no time, Rocky had defeated everyone. Reena was furious when she saw this. She loudly threatened Rocky, telling him to wait for her revenge. But Rocky was determined to make Reena his wife. He even said he wanted to acknowledge Reena's father, Ragendra, as his father-in-law. The next day, Rocky was taking a bath in his hotel room when Reena showed up with a group of thugs. She checked each room, but was unexpectedly pulled into a room by a hand. Why did you come to see me? Even you can't stay away from me, can you? I just finished taking a bath. I'm going to kill you. Rocky said that he loved Reena even more now and praised her for bringing people to find him, calling it adorable. He said, our love is like a train on the tracks, constantly moving forward. Then, hearing a commotion outside, Rocky stepped out of the room. Reena breathed a sigh of relief. Driver. Oh my God, it's Rocky. Looks like you've beaten everyone up. Rocky pretended to be a driver and offered to take Reena home. But on the way, he kept chattering nonstop. Unable to bear it, Reena told him to stop the car.
Do you really not know who I am?
How could I possibly like a commoner like you? Rocky was stunned. He then saw a woman holding a child, anxiously bending down to pick up a piece of bread from the ground. His eyes suddenly became incredibly determined. He then hit the gas, bringing all traffic to a halt. An angry mob yelled, threatening to kill Rocky. But then everyone went silent. Garina poked his head out to look and saw that Rocky had pulled out a gun. He opened the car door and slowly stepped out, picked up the bread and dusted it off. I have to polish 8 pairs of shoes just to earn 1 loaf of bread. This world operates on selfishness. It won't stop for any of us. We have to stop it ourselves. Don't worry about them.
None of them are stronger than you.
In this universe, no warrior can compare to a mother. Rocky remembered how in the past, his mother had also led him like this. Back in the car, Rocky started talking nonstop again. This time, Rena remained silent. She only said that if he wanted to date her, he should meet her at a nearby bar that night. As night fell, Rocky went alone to meet Rena. She was sitting quietly on the sofa. As Rocky was about to light a cigarette to relax, a dozen guns were pointed directly at him. Rocky slowly backed away. A man lifted his gun and cocked it. "Don't waste your bullets," Rena said. She didn't call them to hurt him, but to make him realize his own worth. She also wanted to see Rocky's masculinity. She would give him one more chance. "If you can touch me in front of them, I'll be your woman." All the guns were raised again. Instead of smoking, Rocky slowly backed away. Laughter erupted around him. Countless people began to mock Rocky. "Get out of here, run away. When you get to the city, remember to mention my name. Uncle Tao's shop will give you a bracelet." Rocky didn't turn around. He slowly walked towards a car. "Excuse me, do you have a light?" Everyone in the bar was still laughing loudly, when suddenly a loud explosion echoed. A tanker truck crashed, spilling gasoline everywhere. Everyone was stunned, frozen in place, staring at Rocky. His proud demeanor exuded elegance. He casually lit a cigarette, and that single matchstick terrified those men, who scrambled to catch the cigarette. That tiny flame panicked everyone. His swaggering gait drew many gazes. He walked over to Rena. This time, he had won, and it seemed Rena was smitten with him. "Where's your uncle's shop?" "Uncle Tao's shop is about to go bankrupt, so I'm just giving him a little advertising." "Excuse me, is there anyone else who can teach me some courage?" "Thanks, that's a great idea." Rocky said he wanted to rule this city, so everyone needed to know who he was. "Wait, oh no, my father-in-law is here." It was the boss, Brazila, Rena's father. The councilman from earlier was also with him. It turned out Rocky wanted to use his father-in-law to gather information and get support. The next day, Rocky was arranged to assassinate Garina. Rocky and Guru navigated through the crowd. Guru calmly and quickly assembled the gun, but at the last moment, a group of armed men appeared. It turned out Garina had already deployed armed forces, lying in wait. This caused the assassination attempt to fail. Garina slowly approached from the front. That day, Rocky personally felt the overwhelming aura emanating from Garina. He knew that the pressure came from 2 words: power. After the assassination failed, Rocky had no choice but to execute Plan B. Using Ragendra's network of connections, he infiltrated the gold mine. This was the only way he could get close to Garina. A few days later, the door of a car opened. Below were masked thugs. The slaves were trembling with fear. Only one man's eyes were different from everyone else's. It was Rocky, disguised as a villager captured as a slave. After everyone went inside, the first thing they did was get branded with a number. Once inside, there were no more names, only numbers. Rocky carefully observed his surroundings. He saw a fortress in the distance and knew for sure that Garina was there. A few days later, Rocky realized that this wasn't just a slave mining operation. It was a nation. Women here only had one purpose: to bear children, perpetuating the cycle. Sons would continue to be slaves, while daughters would be abandoned. Every day, men were worked to exhaustion. Rocky witnessed the brutality of this place firsthand. One day, a child was playing ball and accidentally dropped it across a white line on the ground. Seeing this, the mother rushed after her child. As soon as she crossed the white line, she was shot dead. The child innocently picked up the ball. Rocky closed his eyes, witnessing how the mother and child were given a hasty burial after being killed. That day, when Rocky went to work, he chose the moment when security was laxest, melded into the crowd, and unexpectedly snuck out the back. A fellow slave saw this. Rocky quickly entered the electrical room and did something, then hurried back. After the incident, the slave sought out Rocky, knowing he held the key to escaping this place. He pleaded with Rocky to save his pregnant wife, but Rocky beat him and forced him to cooperate. Shortly after, someone entered the power room and was discovered by Garina. He immediately gathered the slaves in the courtyard and declared that if the culprit didn't confess, he would kill everyone. At that moment, the slave's eyes widened as he looked at his pregnant wife, then at Rocky before running outside. He was truly creating a diversion, Perhaps he believed that only Rocky's survival could guarantee the safety of his wife and child.
The next day, his wife gave birth, but it was a girl.
A slave carried the baby girl outside and placed her in Rocky's arms. In truth, the people here had long realized that Rocky was different from them. Rocky was their hope. He will protect us. One afternoon during work, an old man deemed useless due to his age was considered expendable by the overseers. The useless ones were taken underground and tortured to death. Rocky slowly picked up a small hammer and silently counted to 5. He knew a large number of guards would arrive in the city today. Garina himself would perform a sacrificial ceremony. By the time he finished counting, the guards had left.
What are you doing?
Hurry up! He put down the small hammer, picked up a larger one, took 2 steps back, and swung with all his might. The 200-pound overseer was launched more than 100 feet into the air. In an instant, all the slaves turned to watch.
Even the baby stopped crying?
The overseers, witnessing this, charged to attack. But the hammer moved with supernatural speed. Amidst the dust and debris, every charging overseer was sent flying. The hammerhead itself shattered into pieces. Rocky, without a word, descended underground to rescue the old man. At that moment, the old man was being tormented by a group of burly men. When the light suddenly went out, all they heard was a clang. As one overseer rushed forward, he was flung into the air, his naked body exposed. Striking a match, a thug saw it was Rocky. In the blink of an eye, he had become a butcher in the darkness. One after another, the overseers fell. He waited until the flames blazed brightly. Before emerging, a large iron shovel slung over his shoulder. He swung the shovel relentlessly, the clang of metal echoing. Countless overseers fell. Rocky then grabbed a flaming torch and swung it fiercely. A lone figure was dispensing justice in the stifling darkness. In just a few minutes, hundreds of overseers lay dead. The old man was stunned, unable to comprehend what was happening. You dealt with them all. I left one alive for sacrifice. As the elevator slowly ascended, the old man stepped out first. All the slaves gazed in that direction. A large foot stepped out slowly and powerfully. His left hand dragged a heavy iron chain. Rocky hurled it forcefully. It was the overseer's leader. It's unclear who first slammed their hand on the ground, but soon everyone followed suit. Seeing the slaves' actions, it was clear this wasn't just about hitting the dirt. It was about releasing years of pent-up anger and injustice.
Finally,
Rocky raised his hammer and delivered a decisive blow. The firelight quickly caught Garina's attention. Because Rocky had destroyed the electrical system, the only light in the mine came from flickering torches. Garina gathered all the slaves in the castle and produced a gleaming steel blade. Today is the goddess's sacrificial day. He intended to sacrifice 3 living slaves, using this ritual to terrorize them every year. He walked to the water basin, raised the blade high, and struck down, killing the first slave. The second slave met the same fate, but when he dragged out the third, the slave had vanished. Suddenly, a figure lunged from the water basin. A powerful 6-foot blade swung down, ending Garina's life. News of Garina's death spread, attracting countless individuals eager to seize the lucrative gold mine. Among them was a councilman. But they didn't know that Rocky was steadily ascending to the throne. From his very first act, Rocky had the opportunity to eliminate Garina. He didn't, because this gold mine, to control it, he would need his own army. That's why he killed Garina in front of everyone. He instilled courage in 20,000 slaves, making them willing to fight for him. At any moment, this is just the first chapter. This is just the beginning.